like now to open the video and the microphone for another inspiring talk from Richard Maddocks. Richard, are you here?
Richard.
I'm here.
Okay, great.
Great.
Get the motor running.
Behind my motorbike.
Yeah. I know.
I'm not on it. I'd like to be on it, but the season is arriving.
So
Yeah.
you will get lots of energy with Richard.
Okay, could I have control of my own slides, please?
Yes.
Could I do this? So somebody's put my slides up, I think, but there we go. Okay. Thank you very much. Am I good to go? Yeah, I haven't got me on screen yet, but that doesn't matter. I'm probably better looking with the crash helmet on.
I didn't want to mention that. Sorry.
I still see Stefan and Sophie.
Yeah.
I don't see the presentation yet.
Thanks for your feedback.
Yeah,
Rick?
I'm going to click on the presentation, but I'm still waiting for my ugly face to come on screen.
It's your niece or is it your computer?
Nothing to do with me.
Oh, okay.
So I will. Okay. There we go. I'm so sorry.
No.
Good afternoon, everybody. And indeed, like Paul said, thank you very much for inviting me to give a little talk today on 3 of my favorite subjects: leadership, inspiration, and energy, personal energy. Now, you might say, I've got 15 minutes, and just probably try to need to compromise that a little bit, but I'll get going straight away and go to a slide share and show you who I am, just very briefly. So hopefully you're seeing some slides. A slide. This is who I am, basically. This is my raison d'etre, my family. I've got 1 less child than Stefan and 1 more than Paul. So I've got 4 kids. This is a family photo taken a couple of years ago with the kids with their partners. I have many more grandchildren than Stefan. I've got 7 of them. I think he has 0. And my wife, Christina, is in there too. The dog is not ours, by the way. We had a family day out herding sheep. I'm very active in sports, have been my whole life. As a result, various body parts have had to be replaced. A new knee not so long ago. But I still do whatever I can. And I have a sort of need for speed, a bit thrill seeking, especially on 2 wheels. I have a corporate life. I was 25 years, the last 10 of which were a CEO of a company, a startup that we made very successful. Before that, I was VP of Europe for a large American company and so forth. I got out of that very consciously to really do what I love to do. My passion is unleashing potential in other people. And that's what I've been doing for the last 23 years now. So I told you 3 subjects in a short space of time, but they are linked. Leadership. Paul said, like he said, entrepreneurship, he said, is an attitude. Leadership is an attitude for me. It's not about hierarchy, positions or labels, titles, etc. Leadership is all about behaviors. Everybody can be a leader. And I don't know if you know Robin Sharma. Robin Sharma, one of his main themes on leadership is leader without a title, which I love. Because leadership is about there's many I's you could talk about, but it's about the influence and impact and inspiration. So much of leadership is about that. And it's obviously we want to get results, whether we fail, that's also a result, or whether we succeed. Influence is really spreading passion, which as Paul said, we have to have lots of in any organization, innovative or not. And innovation, and inspiration, we need really to try and make sure we inspire everybody around us, our customers, our team members, also our partners, anybody and everybody. And leadership is really a big part of these things. Now, I've been giving leadership programs that I've developed for now at least 15 plus years, and I use this model. It's a model that's quite a well-known model. I've adapted it for my needs at the beginning. And it's a 5 leadership performance area model. It's not a sequential thing. You have to be working on each of these 5 areas if you want to become a stronger leader. And they all have very strong links to a set of behaviors. What I'm going to focus on today is the middle one, improve and innovate. They're equally important, by the way, although I would say if you're not very good at being a role model, you kind of don't get out of the starting blocks as being a leader, but they're all equally important. So let's look at improve and innovate. What we're looking for there is to really try and find new opportunities. Doesn't matter how big or small, we're looking for opportunities to innovate, try new things out, but also to improve existing things. But it automatically means that you need to take risks. I won't repeat so much of what Paul has said, which was absolutely brilliant, because as we know, when we try new things out, whether that's improving things or creating new things and innovating, we're always going to fail from time to time. Well, probably most of the time. I can't remember how many times it took Thomas Edison, how many failures before he kindly created his light bulb, but I think his statement was something like he failed his way to success, which is kind of what we always do. So the implications of this leadership performance area are many, but these are the 2 main ones that I would like to just refer to. When I say an attitude about leadership, and when I say leadership is for everybody, the same as I'll explain in a moment briefly, is for innovation. But leadership is for everybody. It's about attitudes, it's about behaviors. One of the behaviors is to challenge the status quo, whatever role you're in. Challenge the status quo doesn't mean to say we're making change for the sake of change. But what we're trying to do is to make sure that we keep thinking, and I say every day, how could I have more impact today? Me, in what I do, for my ecosystem, whatever that is, all the people around me, my marketplace, the customers, the partners, the colleagues, and so forth. How could we, the team, how could we do things differently, change things, improve things, so that we make progress in whatever we're busy with? What new things could I and we do? So a lot of this improve and innovate is about this attitude, challenging the status quo. 3 simple strategies for this in terms of improve and innovate. Paul already referred to it. Look outside. I call it outside. You've got to go outside your team, outside your department, outside your company, outside of your industry. Look outside for potential new things, ideas, the way other people are doing things that you could maybe bring back into your own organization, your team. Taking risks, learning from mistakes. Paul covered that very amply, no question about it. But it really is important that we need to think that we try and make sure we've got a fault-tolerant environment, risk-tolerant, fault-tolerant. If you don't have that, people do not feel that they are often not brave enough, if you will, to try things and fail if they know that they're going to be criticized for it or, between quotes, punished. So fault-tolerant, risk-tolerant is really important. And small wins. I mean, we kind of all know this. You don't go for the big bang. We try and cut things up into small things. Success breeds success. Try and get small wins that work or not and fail and modify, learn from that, try again, and so forth. So these 3 simple strategies are ones that I really strongly recommend you bear in mind in terms of when you're trying to improve and innovate and create in general a culture of innovation. So let me just talk very briefly about that. People often seem to mix the 2 words together, creativity and innovation. Often people refer to them thinking they're the same, and they're not. I'm sure most of you have appreciated that a long time ago. But just to emphasize the point, I want to talk through the 3 areas of creating a culture of innovation. Like I said with leadership is everybody's business. In my opinion, innovation is everybody's business, or can be. It's about imagination, then creativity, and then innovation itself. So what do I mean with that, and what do others mean with this? Well, as human beings, we all have the ability, with our eyes closed or open, but works sometimes even better with our eyes closed. We can close our eyes and imagine things that have been in the past. I can picture my old school, my grammar school, where I went to many years ago now. It was there, and I can think about it, and I can picture it. I can close my eyes, and I can also think of something that doesn't exist. I can think of a pink elephant with green feet. I hope you don't have that visual for the rest of the day with you, but anyway, think of that pink elephant with green feet. It doesn't exist. It may never exist, but we have the ability to do this. And every human being has the ability to do this. They have an imagination. And if they are prompted to use their imagination and involved as part of a culture of innovation or a process of innovation, they can contribute to this in our processes of creating new things and improving things. So imagination is the source of creativity. It's where we think of things, existing things that could be improved, or often new things that don't yet exist. Creativity, you don't do creativity in an abstract sense. Now, some people say, well, abstract art, Richard. No, that's still art. You're painting. You create a painting. You're creative in something, in mathematics, in business, in engineering, whatever it happens to be. So creativity is applying something, and what it's doing is you're applying your imagination. You're coming up with ideas based upon the imagination, but ideas that you think might work. It's not necessarily want to constrict ourselves to ideas that work. You know, we go brainstorming, we come up with all sorts of things, but that's really mainly imagination. But creativity is looking to see how could we maybe apply the imagination, the things that we've imagined, into practice. We look at different ways of doing that, and then we move into the third step. Then we innovate. Innovation is nothing more or nothing less than applied creativity. We're trying out the new things that we've created. We imagined things, we created things around the imagination, expanded upon it, and then we try to innovate by implementing them. And sometimes they work, and often they fail. But ladies and gentlemen, that is if you want to create a culture of innovation, it's really important that you go through these stages, and really important then to include as many people as appropriate in the imagination phase. Consequences of this are many. Here's just a few of them. Process. It's really important to have process for innovation. It's not just something we throw a bunch of so-called creative people in a room and see what comes out. No, we want to have process. Like I said, risk tolerant, fault tolerant, really important to create that sort of environment. People are allowed to fail. Often we need to tell people that, to what I call reset permissions. Go shopping, go outside, find new ideas, and to do things differently, improve upon existing things or new things. Not big bang, incremental, and try and keep coming up with all sorts of activities that help people to learn and stimulate their thinking and take action. So, you know, as Paul said, lesson learned sessions and et cetera, et cetera. So these are some of the consequences. I don't know if you've come across Sir Ken Robinson in your lifetime. Very interesting chap in terms of innovation and so forth, and creativity, particularly in the education systems. But anyway, he talks often about innovation zone. And he talks about where talent meets passion, and I like to add purpose into that. So my innovation zone is where these three things come together: talent, passion, and purpose. You want people to be able to talk about their talents, talk about their passion, talk about their purpose at work. Purposes at work. Bring teams together. You know, people often really just don't think of doing things like that. Bring different teams together so that they can create amazing things. And then make sure your teams are as diverse as possible in every way you can imagine. Now, that's covered a little bit of leadership and innovation in the short time I have. So let me talk a little bit about energy. One of my claims to fame is having written and had a very successful book published called The Energy Book, spread around the world. That got launched about 4 years ago. I'm not here to pitch my book. What I am here to tell you about is that I understand what personal energy is about. I've studied it for many years. I've worked with some key people in those fields. And like other people, this is the way I talk about personal energy. There are 4 levels of personal energy, 4 types, sorry: physical, emotional, mental, and purpose. What I want to stress to you is how important it is, if you want to create a culture of innovation and get people involved in that, that people need to have a balanced, high energy to make these things happen. And one of the easy ways you can do that, the book will tell you 50 ways, and there are many, many, many other ways, but one easy way to do that is to make sure that you keep taking breaks. A 5 to 15-minute break, preferably every 60 minutes, max every 90, whatever activity you're doing. Break away from that and do something different, something between quotes, work related. And the things you see here, these figures, that is not fiction, this is fact. Really, really important to understand. And what are we talking about here? 5 minutes every 60 to 90. Anybody who's done this knows that it works. More creativity, more mental power to be able to focus, and so forth. So that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes what I wanted to rattle through. I'm sorry if I've talked rather fast. I was conscious of trying to catch up a bit of time. But have a think about, what will you do differently to have more impact tomorrow and for all of your tomorrows? So thank you, Sophie and Stefan.
Thank you so much, Richard. I really believe that your book is a fantastic gift. It's in Dutch and in English, and maybe one day